Hey YouTube, welcome to the Don to Be channel. Thanks for watching. So today's video is going to be a basic overall review of the On3 Performance Turbo Kit on my 87 Mustang GT. So I'm going to pretty much go over the good, the bad, and unfortunately some of the ugly in regards to this kit. So let's go ahead and take a look at the engine bay, and then I'll kind of give you pretty much an overall summary of how everything went and what I think of the kit. Okay, so as you can see, here's the kit pretty much installed on my car. It's fully installed, and now I'm still working out some tuning issues, but it's getting closer to being fully completed. But in regards to the full installation of the kit, it is fully completed, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about some of the good, the bad, and the ugly on the On3 Performance Turbo Kit here. So, one of the great things about this kit is the ease of installation. Now, if you watched my video series of the installation of the kit onto the car, you got to see my basic overall steps of pretty much installing it from start to finish for the most part. There are a few little details that I wish I would have filmed or gathered, but there was nothing pretty much major that I got left out. So the ease of installation is excellent. The kit pretty much bolted on as you saw it on the videos. So a great thing about the kit is the ease of installation. And the only major trouble parts that you'll probably run into is probably impatience. You'll want to get the car on, you'll get into a rhythm, you'll want to get all the parts together, and then you may overlook something. So the major thing is that as long as you take your time, you're going to pretty much have no problem getting the kit installed in your car. The next major plus for this kit is the price. It is a very economical kit. And even with the upgrades, because again, I purchased a 67mm ceramic ball bearing turbo from On3 Performance versus the stock 70mm journal bearing unit. With that and some fuel components and other miscellaneous items I picked up, I still am under $4,000 for absolutely everything I put into this car. So it's a very economical price. $4,000 is not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. But essentially that's pretty much bolted onto your car, ready to go, and street tuning. A full single turbo kit that's ready to go for under $4,000, including the tuning items. You know, you can't really beat that price. Another main plus on the kit is the quality of the components. Now I know, and that a lot of people out there know, On3 Performance has had a bad rep over many years especially when they first started out, really. A lot of their kits were known to have major failures. There would be a lot of people that would badmouth On3 Performance because they are essentially the cheap eBay kit with some bells and whistles added to them. But On3 I do have to admit, they did step up their game over the years, offering different quality components. You have different material items like your headers. You have the choice of if you wanted to keep them out and do ceramic coating like I did, or if you wanted to just wrap them up with some heat wrap, you can do that, or you can shell out a little bit more money for the stainless steel version of the same hot pipes. But either way, the quality of the components of the turbo has been great. The downpipe, the couplers, the clamps, all that stuff has been excellent. It's actually really quality stuff now, and I'm sure compared to like an early kit, like a very early kit, you'll probably notice a night and day difference with what's been done with the kit. So I do have to give a good grade on the quality of the major components. Now, unfortunately, I do have to talk about some of the parts that, or some of the items I didn't like with the kit. Unfortunately, there are some bad parts. Now, in regards to the kit itself, it was missing some parts. I was missing my power steering cooler line that was supposed to come with the kit. That's not a detrimental part to the kit, so I'm only going to consider that a bad item because you can still get away with using your stock one, or if you're running a manual rack and pinion, it's not going to matter. You don't need a power steering cooling line. So I was missing that component. I was also missing a few nuts and bolts. Actually, some of the essential bolts I was missing. I was missing one of the turbo to header bolts, and I was missing all the fastening nuts to those bolts as well. Luckily, they're not detrimental to the kit. You can go out to the hardware store, or if you have some grade 8 hardware laying around, a lot of people have that just sitting in their garage, so it's not a big deal. Not detrimental to the installation of the kit. kind of sucks. But I mean, you're going to run into this with the kit essentially, and I think I would speak for most people. Your kit may be a full complete kit, you may not be missing one single piece, but I was missing a few. Again, not detrimental to the kit. I wasn't missing a main component. I wasn't missing one of a coupler or a pipe. I wasn't missing any of those components. So none of the major components that would stop me from actually putting the kit on the car actually happened. So I was missing just those few components, which adds to my bad list of this kit. Another problem with the kit is that the air fittings that came with the kit were not very good. For the lines that go to your manual boost controller and the T-fitting, and the fitting goes to your intake manifold, unfortunately they just didn't make the cut. The hose that comes with it doesn't secure on there very tight, so you're going to have to make another trip to the hardware store or just plan on doing this, just picking up some better fittings, some better barbed in fittings that you can actually zip tie the hose around and not have to worry about them ever coming off. So that's another component that comes with the kit. It does come with it and it will work, but I wouldn't trust the vacuum or boost line going to it. Another thing that is kind of like a known item on this On3 Performance kit is that there's no intercooler brackets that come with it. I consider this to be added to my bad list, even though it's not a big deal to make your own. It just kind of sucks that it doesn't come with some kind of general item in case you don't have access to, a torch or access to like a clamp or a bench vise or anything along those lines. Kind of sucks that if you don't have that, it doesn't have like a general type of bracket that you can work with, that maybe you just need to cut shorter or what have you, just something that comes with the kit. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with anything, and the instructions don't really provide any kind of information on how you can make your brackets. It is very intuitive though. Again, mine, as you saw in my installation video, I just made some L brackets essentially. That's all I had to do. But I consider that a bad part of the kit because, again, this is touted as a complete kit that bolts onto your car. It is missing that component, and you do not want to go without bolting brackets to your intercooler. Okay, so we talked about the good and the bad. Let's talk about the ugly. Now, unfortunately, there are a few things with this kit that are just downright ugly. So let's talk about one of the items. The oil filter relocation kit that comes if you purchase separately for the On3 Performance Turbo kit. The idea is awesome because you can remote put the filter anywhere you want, which is really cool. And you don't have to worry about running a stubby filter if you want a full-size filter to do your oil cleaning for you. Unfortunately, the kit that I purchased, maybe I had bad luck with it. Maybe the specs weren't proper when it was built, but I could not get the thing to not leak oil. And unfortunately, you do not want to run into that kind of issue when you're running, hot exhaust and running turbo, and you don't want to be spraying oil all over the place, essentially. So I would just say completely ignore the On3 Performance oil filter relocation kit. And if you want to still have a full-size oil filter, buy yourself one of the Ford Racing 90-degree adapters that goes on the engine block. All it does is essentially it goes onto the block and makes the oil filter face more towards the front accessories. And you can still run a full-size filter and clear the exhaust side headers. So I would stay away from the oil filter relocation kit. I tried to work with it. I even picked up some braided steel nylon hose with some twist lock fittings. And that was better, but unfortunately it still leaked oil. It only seemed to leak oil under under any load on the engine. So what I did was I just scrapped the entire thing. I am going to end up purchasing a 90-degree block adapter because I still want to run a full-size filter. I picked up a Napa filter for the car currently. It's just a stubby little filter right now. It works, but it's not what I want to end up being full-time, so I am going to pick up a 90-degree block adapter. So guys, just stay away from the oil filter relocation kit. Again, you may have better luck than me, but it's just one of those components you just do not want to have fail on you. Plus, I didn't like the idea that there is just a hose and clamp style versus some kind of AN fitting or some kind of, a stainless steel braided line going to it. I wasn't a huge fan of the way it came, but I figured I'd give it a try. But it failed as soon as I started the car. It wouldn't hold the pressure, didn't seal it properly. Stay away from the oil filter relocation kit. Or pick yourself up like a nice one from maybe Maximum Motorsports or something along those lines. I'm sure there's something out there that works great for the kit, but the one that comes from On3 Performance, I'm sorry guys, I'm just going to give it a very ugly and failing grade. Last but not least, the other ugly component was that my manual boost controller that came with this kit actually didn't work out of the box, which caused my overboosting problem. what I ended up doing to verify if it was working or not, or I took it off and just ran the vacuum line straight to the bottom of the wastegate and left the top vent to atmosphere like it should. And I was able to hold 7 psi, no problem. So I'm like, okay, great. And I went to verify, make sure I had the lines hooked up properly for the manual boost controller. I even moved the manual boost controller. It used to be sitting back here. I actually moved it towards closer to the radiator, and it's being held in by one of the brackets up front. And just so I had a better control of the vacuum lines, making sure I maybe didn't get twisted up. Adjusted the thing all the way in to make sure that no air was getting to the top of the wastegate to keep it from opening. Unfortunately, I still spiked up the 14 psi. The car had spark cut and car shut down. So my manual boost controller, something inside of it's not right, and it's not allowing it to do its thing. So that item just failed out of the box. This actually isn't a new thing, and from what I understand, a lot of people experience the same kind of issue with those manual boost controllers failing. So I'm either going to pick up a different wastegate spring to run maybe 10 or 12 psi, and or I'll just pick up a better boost controller. But the wastegate does work properly, and all the other components work properly as they should. The wastegate does open up at 7 psi. It's very loud. Car actually is pretty quiet, even with the exhaust that I have on it. It's actually not much louder than like your typical Flowmaster car at idle. And the blow-off valve is actually pretty loud too, which is kind of neat, especially when you give it a little bit of load. It does blow off it is quite loud. But the wastegate, blow-off valve, all the main components do work. Using the biggest thing that I was actually surprised about was using copper RTV on all where the gaskets would go. And I was actually worried that that stuff would blow out pretty quick. And actually, I've had no exhaust leaks. I've had this car through quite a few heat cycles now, trying to tune it and everything. I still haven't heard any sputter or any header leak or anything along those lines. I'm probably going to go through again once I take the car out again for another drive and let it cool all the way down. I may go through and start just give another quarter turn on each of the nuts on the V-band flanges and all that stuff. I may do all that just to give it a good once over, just to have that peace of mind that I did it. So guys, that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Alright guys, so you got my opinion, you got my thoughts and the ideas behind my kit, and the good, the bad, and the ugly essentially of the On3 Performance Turbo kit. I'm a fan. I like the kit. And even though I did talk a good amount about the bad and the ugly, it would not deter me from purchasing this kit again. I'm actually very happy with the way that it installed. I ran into very small issues and only had to make really 2 extra department store runs just to pick up some extra hardware. And of course I had to find a proper belt because mine was too long, the one that I had on my car. But I had very good luck installing the kit, and I was just missing a few things, again, not detrimental to the installation of the kit. So I'm very happy, and I'd definitely buy it again. If you're on the fence about purchasing the On3 Performance Turbo kit and you're worried about, from what all the naysayers out there talk about how the turbos fail and all that stuff, just actually make sure that they've actually experienced the kit in firsthand. That they're not spreading false news about something they never owned, and they're just going based off what some guy might have said 10 years ago when he didn't tighten down a couple or whatever. You know what I'm saying. So if you're on the fence about it, and if you have any questions, definitely let me know. I have no problem going over everything that I went through on this kit. I pretty much have nothing really to hide about it. I'm not a fanboy by any stretch of the imagination, but for what it is and for what I paid for, I'm actually very happy because I've had no issues with it, and I've already put it through its paces a little bit with the tuning. I'm having no problems with how much underhood heat there is. The ceramic coating, of course, does help quite a bit. The turbo blanket and the downpipe blanket help a tremendous amount. But yeah, it seems to be pretty good so far. What I'm going to do, guys, is give you guys an update probably next year after I put a lot more miles on it and actually put it under some hard load and everything. But as just the initial installation and the quality of the components and what you're getting for your money, I'm very happy, and I'd recommend it for you guys if you're on the fence. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. We have a lot more coming soon. The car is pretty much tuned pretty well right now, but we still got a little bit more to go, and I'll show you guys that here soon. We'll see you next time.